All right, and here we go. This is episode number 23, I believe. It is franchise mode, NHL 18, Calgary Flames. We are in the midst of the month of May in 2019. In fact, it's May the 4th. Be with you here in 2019. Yes, so the Calgary Flames have just eliminated the Colorado Avalanche, beating them in 6 games to move on to their first Western Conference final since 2004. So yes, welcome to episode number 23. It's been 15 long years since the Calgary Flames have played for a Western Conference title and for a chance to play in the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, 15 years after that magnificent 2004 run, the Calgary Flames are back, and this time, instead of Jerome McGinley and Martin Jelena, Mika Kiprusoff leading the way, it's John Tavares, Johnny Gaudreau, and company leading the way, Craig Anderson in between the pipes for us. So very exciting time right now to be a Calgary Flames fan as we are heading back to the Western Conference Finals. It's been a long time, 15 years. It doesn't seem like a long time, but that's a pretty long time. And our opponent, the St. Louis Blues. So this is going to be a lot of fun. You can see there they beat the down here they beat the Chicago Blackhawks 4-1 in their series. So they got by the Hawks in 5 games. The same team that knocked us out 1 year ago in the second round was the Chicago Blackhawks. They got eliminated, by St. Louis. So that's who we will face in the East. As mentioned in the last episode, it will be Tampa Bay, Carolina. But we focus, of course, on the Western Finals because that's where we are in. That's what we are playing for. Like I said, this is our second year as the GM here with the Calgary Flames in franchise mode, and we have made it to the conference finals. Like I said, last year we made it to rounds 1 and 2, but then we got eliminated to the Hawks. This year, we're hoping to do a little bit more damage. So, with lots to get to in this episode, as the last couple. Like I said, we will break down the St. Louis Blues. We will look at their lines and everything, and we will get right into round number 3, the Western Conference Finals. But quickly, let's take a look at where we continue to be here in terms of stats. So, as I mentioned, John Tavares is leading the way for us this year. He and Johnny Gaudreau both tied for 14 points in 12 games. So, there's no doubt about who our two number 1 and 2 superstars on this team are. That would be Johnny Gaudreau and John Tavares. Really, ever since, around trade deadline when we stuck them on the same line together. Gaudreau played the majority of the season with Sean Monahan as his centerman. But when we moved Tavares to that line with Gaudreau and whoever was on the right wing, it was always either Neil or Bennett. Those two have just taken off ever since. So they've been dynamic together. There's no way we're splitting these two up together. There you can see they have 14 points each through 12 games thus far in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's really good news to see. Obviously, Tavares is leading the way in the goals department too. 8 goals in 12 games for John Tavares. You can see Dougie Hamilton, 11 points there. TJ Brody, 8 points. So pretty good to see 2 of our defensemen up there as well. Sean Monahan on that second line, 7 points through 12 games is pretty damn good. Sam Bennett, who is currently the right winger with Gaudreau and Tavares. Like I said, both James Neal and Sam Bennett, we've just been flip-flopping in rounds 1 and 2. They both have had their success at different times, including Sam Bennett, who scored that Game 6 game winner with 1:40 left there against the Colorado Avalanche in the last series on that top line. Gaudreau and Tavares each having 2 points in that game. So that top line of Gaudreau, Tavares, and Bennett are hot right now. I don't think we want to split them up right now. James Neal has been doing really good alongside Sean Monahan or whoever he's alongside. Matthew Tkachuk, the other member of that line, you can see there, he's got 4 points. Mark Giordano as well. So, yeah, things are looking good. We've even had some contribution from the bottom lines here. Jankowski, 4 points. Versteeg, 4 points. 3 points for Leak. How about Dmitry Yaskins? 2 goals in that series against the Avalanche. Cedric Parquet has already got 2 goals. I mean, these are fourth-line players for us, and they're coming through. So, that's what you like to see here. Erasmus Anderson has brought his play up a little bit. He was a minus, I think he was a -4. He's now a -3. So, Joe Morrill is still a -4, though. So that third pairing still continuing to struggle for us a little bit. But we have the option of playing Slater Cuckoo there as well. And the microphone falling down here. Let's see if we can fix that. All right, so that's what it looks like in terms of our stats among our players through the first 2 rounds. When we look at Craig Anderson, who has played all 12 games for us, by the way, he has risen his play as well. 911 save percentage, 263 goals against. After round 1, he was at 903 for his save percentage. He's starting to bring that up a little bit slowly, but he's getting to better numbers there. That's what we like to see. But the big one here is 8-3-1, obviously leading the way with the 8 wins. That has helped propel us to the Western Conference Finals. So that is good news to see right there. Just taking a look quickly here at team stats. Now, you'll remember if you watched the last episode there, episode 22 against the Colorado Avalanche, that series specifically, our special teams was a cause of concern. Now, we did really good on the penalty kill. Our PK has been really good pretty much all playoffs, but our power play is the one that struggled. So I just did some number crunching just quickly before this episode. After the first round, we were 36% on the power play. We actually led the league in terms of the power play. Actually, first let's take a look at goals for. So I believe we had 17 goals for in after round 1. We have 31 now, so we're near the top there in that department. But you can see there's St. Louis, 38 goals for right here. They are the number 1 team in terms of offense. So that's going to be something when we're looking at their lines here. They're the most powerful offense after round 1. It was the Vancouver Canucks who were the most powerful offense. Excuse me. It is now the St. Louis Blues. So we're running into the hottest offense, or the most powerful offense in the Stanley Cup playoffs, averaging 3.17 goals a game. So that's not going to be good. But we are third, not too far behind, with 31 goals for, 258 goals a game. When it comes to goals against, at the top, we are actually near the top, excuse me. We are, again, third worst this time with 33 goals against, so we have allowed quite a few goals. I think we allowed 6 goals twice in that series in separate games to the Colorado Avalanche in both of our losses, so we obviously want to bring that number down. St. Louis, are they near the top? They are in the top half. They're at the halfway point, so 31 goals against of the 16 teams that made the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are about in the middle there with, where are they here? Where did they go? Oh no, they're near the top here. Why did I see them down there earlier? 31, okay, so they're near the top. So right here. So they're just under us. 31 goals against. We are 33 goals against. So I don't know what the hell I was just looking at, but they are letting in almost as many goals as we are. So that's kind of a good thing. It looks like this, just looking at these numbers alone in terms of the goals for and the goals against, it looks like this will be a high-scoring series because both teams are putting up a lot of goals, but both teams are also allowing a lot of goals. So expect a very high-scoring series in this one. So that was just a quick look. But what I wanted to get to here was the power play. So after the first round, we led the NHL with a 36% power play. 4 for 11 was our power play in round 1. It operated at 36%. That was good enough for first overall in the NHL when it came to the PP. Look at us after round 2. We have slipped down to 21.4%. So I crunched the numbers in that series against Colorado. After going 36% in round 1, we went 17% in round 2. We went 3 for 18. 3 for 18 on the power play against the Avalanche. That is a horrible power play, especially against, or especially for a team that we consider ourselves to be such a high-powered offense. We have some very lethal weapons up front, and to have a power play operating at 17%, that really hurt us in that second round. We were able to get by the Avalanche, but I really strongly believe if we do not get a stronger power play here in round 3, we will not be getting by the St. Louis Blues here in the Western Conference Finals. If we do not pick up our power play. So 17% in the second round, that was not a good enough power play. Obviously, if you watched the episode, we made a lot of at different points we swapped players here and there to try and get our power play going. So again, we'll try and see if we can figure out the power play here in round 3. When it came to shorthanded, after the first round, we were 81% in the PK category. That's pretty good. Right now we are, where are we? We're 78. So our PK did drop just slightly in that second round. Again, we went 4 for 17 in the second round against the Avalanche, so good enough for 76% in the PK. Like I said, 3 for 16 16 in round 1, 81% in round 1, 76% in round 2, which is an average here of 78.8. So we are, we're about middle of the pack when it comes to the PK. I thought our PK was pretty strong to only allow four power play goals against on 17 tries there against the Avalanche. I thought that was pretty good. Our PK is not as inconsistent and not as weak as our power play is. So just wanted to look at that, but good to see the St. Louis Blues. Actually, we didn't even take a look at where they were in terms of the special teams. I just want to see where their power play is at. If they're such a lethal offensive team, I expect them to be at the top, and yes, they are. Their power play, 28.6%, so obviously better than our power play, and their PK here, operating at 93.5. Holy shit, they have the best PK in the NHL. So they've only allowed 2 power play goals against on 31 tries. Holy crap, that is a good PK. So, wow, that's not going to be fun. So, yeah, I think whoever wins the special teams battle is winning this series. This is not good. Okay, so we have a lot to get to here. Let's take a look at their stats first. But I think that's what's going to come down to. We got probably 2 more powerful offenses in the NHL in this year's NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, I should say, and we're going head to head. But I think it's going to come down to whoever can win that special teams battle. So that's us. Let's take a look here at St. Louis. So I'm not looking forward to seeing what their lineup looks like. They probably got some pretty big names up there, and it's obviously led with a superstar, just like we have John Tavares. They have Vladimir Tarasenko, who is also just like John Tavares, put up 14 points through 12 games. They also have another guy, just like we do, who put up 14 points in 12 games, and it's Ivan Barbashev. So this is something you don't usually see. A guy that is rated 82. He's probably a third-line winger. He's a young guy here, 23 years of age. He's listed as a second-line forward right now, but in 82 is probably somewhere around a third-line centerman. He is a centerman. But he's so I guess he could be a second-line centerman, but for some reason he has put up 14 points in 12 games, so he's playing really good for them. So he's a centerman. Tarasenko's a right winger. You can guess those two are just like Gaudreau, Tavares. They're 1-2 punch up front. So just like us, they have a 1-2 punch up front. This is already looking different than the 2 teams that we've already faced, which was Arizona and Colorado, who had a more spread out offense, I should say. When we look here, there is Alexander Steen, 10 points. A bit of a drop-off after Tarasenko and Barbashev, because you got Steen, who's in double digits. But after that, James Schwartz, who has got 9 points. 8 points for the top defenseman, Alex Pietrangelo, but a big note, minus 10 there. Braden Shen has 7 points. Sabatka, 2. Berglund, Fabry, and onwards down. So, yeah, a lot of their offense, their high-powered offense, is coming from their top 2 guys and their top players in general. So, I think they're going to have a top-heavy offense. Just looks like it already, just like us. So, this is going to be a really good matchup. This is going to be a lot different than what we've seen in Arizona and Colorado. So, there's Pietrangelo, as mentioned. There is Jack Johnson. He looks like he is injured at the moment, but probably is good to go for the series. There's Colton Parenko, Joel Edmondson. So you can see these guys are not don't have pretty much any points. It's all coming from Pietrangelo. So their offense is not coming from their back end, besides their captain. But you can see down there, Bouwmeester has got 1 point, and that's about it when you get down there. Let's just take a look at their goaltending. And their goaltending is led by Jake Allen, Carter Hutton there as well. But Jake Allen has played 12 games, all 12 games. I believe Hutton may have came in relief in a couple times, but 8-4 and 914 save percentage there for Jake Allen. So that's a pretty good run there for Allen as well. So, yeah, so just we'll take a look here at their lines, but just first glance there, I can already see that their team is going to be a lot more similar to our team in terms of the way their lineup is constructed. So, yeah, this is going to be good. Two high-powered offenses going at it here in round 3 in the Western Conference Finals for a chance to play for the Stanley Cup. And again, I think it's going to come down to special teams. I really do. And especially our power play versus the top PK that's operating at 93%. That's just absolutely crazy. So as expected, Ivan Barbashev and Vladimir Tarasenko, who are leading the way with 14 points each, are a 1-2 punch there on the top line, just like we have Tavares Tavares and Gaudreau. They have Alexander Steen to complement them. We have Sam Bent to complement our guys. Alexander Steen has, what is that, 8, 9, 10 points there for them. So that's not bad. Therefore, that's a pretty lethal top line. Again, Barbashev not looking like a number one center at 82. In fact, they're pretty weak down the middle here. But for some reason, they're getting it done. Just like the Avalanche were with their top line, they're getting it done here on this top line for St. Louis. Second line here, Jaden Schwartz is looking pretty good there. Braden Shen on the right wing, 84. Schwartz in 85. Jordan Kyrou, who is their second line centerman. He's 71 overall. So they have a huge drop off when it comes to center depth. -4, 2 points. Like, I'm just trying to think here. We have Tavares, we have Monahan, we have Jankowski, and then we have Parkett. We're obviously deeper down the middle because we go 92, 88, and then what is Jankowski, 76. So we're much deeper down the middle. They got Sabatka, who's a 78 here, and they're playing him as a fourth line centerman. So they could always move Sabatka up, but still, we're way deeper down the middle than them. But I'm just trying to think here. There's no way we can, we don't have any more centermen to add to completely destroy them down the middle. Because, I mean, I think this is, if we do win this series, I think part of it's, the main part is going to be special teams, but I think it's going to be center depth. Just look how weak they are down here. I mean, they're pretty stacked on the wings. They got some pretty good wingers. I mean, their top four left and right wingers, excuse me, are all top wingers. Like Steen and Tarasenko are definitely first-line wingers. Shen and Schwartz are very powerful second-line wingers. Like, that's a very solid second line, minus Jordan Kyrou. And then Robbie Fabry and Patrick Berglund. That's really solid third-line centers with this Adam Usel in the middle. And then you got Sanford, Sabatka, and Robert Batuzzo as a fourth line. So the fourth lines on every team are pretty much the same, high 70s on every line. That's the same for us. But where they have us beat is on the depth on the wings, but we have them beat on the depth in the middle. We've got a much stronger middle center core than they do. So that's really weird. You don't usually see a team constructed with such a weak center core, but yet have such a high, powerful offense and make it to the Western Conference Finals. That's weird. I thought they would be a lot top-heavy like us and have depth at the bottom, but no, they're constructed. You can see on the wings and on both wings, and very weak down the middle. So just really weird. Haven't ever seen that before. When we come to their defense, wow, they've got a pretty good defensive core. Just from first look here, Colton Perenko and Alex Pietrangelo, and then Jay Bomeister and Jack Johnson rounding out their top four. That's not a bad top four. It's not as good as our top four because we go 89 and 87, and we go 87 and 83. In our top four, they go 85, 89, 83, and 82. So, I mean, our top four is probably slightly better than theirs, not by too much, but we do have slightly better top four. They do have a better bottom pairing than us, especially considering both Joe Morrill and Rasmus Anderson has really been struggling in this year's playoffs for us. So they do have a much stronger bottom pairing with some veteran defensemen in Carl Gunnarsson and Joel Edmondson. But we have a stronger top four overall. And then when we get to goaltending there's Jake Allen and there's Carter Hutton. So Jake Allen, 85, Craig Anderson, 86. This is a much closer goaltending matchup for us than the last two series. In the last two series against Arizona and Colorado, we faced Antti Ratinen and Semyon Varlamov, who are both 83 overall, if I'm not mistaken. So now we face Jake Allen, who's an 85, and Craig Anderson, who's an 86 for us. So this is a lot closer than those previous two teams. So, yeah, that's just a quick look at their lineup. Don't really need to look at how their power play or penalty kill is constructed. I think their numbers speak for themselves there. They've got a pretty strong PK especially, and a pretty decent power play. So it's definitely going to come down to special teams. But when we look at their lines and then we look at our lines, I mean, like, there's not much we can do here. Like, I mean, Jankowski is a 78. I said he was a 76. He's a 78, so he's the same as Sabatka, who is their fourth-line centerman. Cedric Parkett, who's our fourth-line centerman, is just one below both Jankowski and Sabatka, so that's not bad. We definitely have them beat down here, especially with Tavares and Monahan. But like I said, Ivan Barbashev, for them, who's their number one centerman, he's playing like a number one. So he's playing just, like, he's got the same amount of points as John Tavares does, and he's an 82. John Tavares is a 90. 92. They've got the same amount of points. So really, I mean, as much as we do this pre-scouting of these teams, it really doesn't matter because an 82 is not playing like an 82 right now for them. He's playing like a 92. So that's obviously not good for us. But we do have them beat in the middle, I think, in terms of center depth. We're pretty good on this right side. I think we're pretty equal with Bennett, Neal, and Frolik. We're pretty strong here, too, with Gaudreau and Tkachuk. We drop off a little bit here on the third-line centerman spot, but I think we should be able to match them okay here offensively. I still think we have a stronger overall offensive core. I think we definitely have a stronger overall defensive core. I mean, again, they beat us down here in the bottom pairing, but we have a slightly stronger top four, and we are one better than them in the goaltending department. So. It's definitely a much closer matchup though than Arizona and Colorado was. We're definitely facing a much closer, equal team in terms of overalls and in terms of power to us. So it's going to be a good matchup. It's the Western Conference Finals. It's expected to be that much harder. It definitely will be that much harder for the Calgary Flames, who got by both the Arizona Coyotes and the Avalanche in 6 games each. I wouldn't be surprised if this Western Conference Finals maybe goes to 7 games, especially if we want to come out on top. But it's not going to be an easy series at all. I think it's going to be a much harder series, but it should be a lot of fun. Again, the two teams are playing for a chance to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, so that's what it's supposed to be. So when we look at our power play here, so we did a lot of tweaking in that last episode to this power play. We did a lot of different combinations here. We ended up leaving Monahan, Tavares, Tkachuk, Gaudreau, and Hamilton as the top unit. Bennett, Neal, you can see here with Versteeg, Brody, and Giordano. Chris Versteeg has not done anything in this year's playoffs, a very little bit, 4 points and a -2. I'm wondering if we take him off of here, maybe throw on somebody like Michael Frolik. Yaskins has played good as well. He is just one below Frolik. I'm just trying to think here who else we could stick on there. Jankowski's been. You know what? Let's throw Jankowski there for now, and then we can work from there. But we're just going to try switching things up. We'll keep these 2 units in as is right now, and we'll make our decision here after game 1. If we have to switch these things up. But we do have a loaded top unit here, and then our second unit there's still pretty strong. We should be doing a lot better is what I'm trying to say than going 3 for 8 there in round 2 against Colorado. Don't forget, Colorado did not have that good of a PK in round number 2. I think their PK was just average. It definitely wasn't where St. Louis's PK is, which is number 1, which is 93%. So, I mean, we are going to have our hands full with their PK. I mean, we're going to be lucky if we can score against their PK. But we got to do much better than 17% in the special teams if we want to make it to the finals. So that's enough talking from me. That is a look at the St. Louis Blues. That is a look at us. This is going to be an exciting Western Conference Finals. I'm looking forward to it right here. So let's just start simming right up there. Let's just get right into it here. So I believe we have this one. So are the Stockton Heat done? That's the other thing we forgot to check on. So I'll stop simulation right here for a second. It does not look like the Stockton Heat are done. So it looks like they did get by the Tuscan Road Runners there. Tucson Road Runners, excuse me. So they did start off with a couple losses, but they bounced back there with a few wins. So now they face the Iowa Wild. So they're also going to round 3 of their playoffs, as are we in the NHL. So good to see there for our affiliate team, the Stockton Heat. So let's get right into our NHL matchup here with the Blues. Gotta grab a drink there. Excuse me. So both teams 8 for 4 thus far in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So obviously both teams have played 12 games. In both rounds 1 and 6, they did get by the Chicago Blackhawks in round 1. So they did get by them in, round 2. By the Chicago Blackhawks in round 2 in 5 games, which means they played 7 games in the opening round, whereas we played 6 games in both rounds against the Coyotes and the Avalanche. So just nice little fact there to see how they got to where they are now and how we got to. They went 7 and then 5 games, and we went 6 and 6. Okay, so here we go. You can see there is their record. They were one of the top teams in the conference as well in the regular season, going 47-30 and 5. We went 44-25 and 13. So we did finish above them. Let's just take one look at that quickly at the regular season standings. because just like Colorado, we haven't seen a lot of the St. Louis Blues all season long. So I just want to see where they finished during the regular season here in the West. Let's go Western Conference. Okay. So we know Vancouver finished 1. We finished 2. There they are, number 3. So 99 points they actually finished, which is 3 points or 2 points back of us, for 3rd in the Western Conference. They finished 1st in their division, so they clinched their division title. They won the Central Division, and they finished just a couple points back of us. So very even matchup here. Whereas you can see Colorado and Arizona, the 2 teams that we beat in the opening rounds, were the 2 final teams to make it in the West, the 8th seed and the 7th seed. Now we've got the 3rd seed going up against us, the 2nd seed. So, like I said, in the lineup matchups, this is going to be a much closer matchup in terms of teams going at it, a much stronger team. So we are really, really going to have to step it up here. Basically, is what I'm trying to say for the Calgary Flames. Like if they want to make it past the St. Louis Blues here, and we're probably still favorited looking at it that we were the 2nd seed and they were the 3rd seed. We're probably slightly favorited to win this series, but still, I think that it's going to be us that are going to have to really step it up more than them if we want to win, because we probably didn't play as good as we could have in those first 2 series against the 2 bottom seeds in our division, in our conference, So now we've got to really step it up going against a top team in our conference. So, like I said, that's enough talking for me. Let's get right into it. Game number 1 from the Scotiabank Saddledome of the Western Conference Finals. First time in 15 years that the Western Conference Finals runs through Calgary. This is exciting. So here we go. Real-time sim. Game number 1. And of course, they obviously started off with a 1-0 goal, just like the Coyotes and the Avalanche did against us in those series. But here we go. Here's our first look power play. And we go 0 for 1. 0 for 1 in the series, but again, they have a PK operating at 93%. So it's a strong PK, but we got to find that answer. There's James the Real Deal Neal. That's good to see. Tying this one up in the first period. That's what we need after 20 minutes. Let's get into period number 2 here. Come on, Calgary Flames. Here's our PK, and we fail. So we have really, really not started off good in the special teams play. We are 0 for 1 on the PK and 1 for 0, or 0 for 1 on the power play, 1 for 0 on the PK. So there's Jay Bomeister on the power play, but there's Cedric Parquet. He's really come through. I believe that's his 2nd in the playoffs. That 4th line is really contributing with a couple goals here and there when we need them. So that's nice to see. We don't have the strongest depth, but it's nice to see them come through. So 2-2 after 40. Here it is, the final period of play of game number 1. We need this 1-0 lead on St. Louis. Schwartz gets the goal. Can we tie it up? They're on the power play. We kill it off. Here's our power play. They kill it off. We're now 0 for 2 when it comes to the PP. This is not good. Come on. 7 minutes still to go. Calgary Flames, we can tie this one up. Come on. Let's get ourselves to overtime here. Come on, Flames. And then they get the empty net, Jordan Kyrou. So we drop game number 1. They get the game winner off the stick of Jaden Schwartz. Jordan Kyrou sinks the empty netter, and they beat us 4-2 in game 1. So I told you, this is not going to be an easy series. They're a very, very powerful team. We can see it there as they have beat us in game number 1. So, the big thing in that game is we did lose the special teams battle. Our PK allowed at least 1 goal there, I believe it was, and we went 0 for 2 on the power play. So I'm just looking quickly here. Just trying to think here. We'll switch up the power play. There's Joe Morrill again in the mind. So I think I'm going to try taking out Joe Morrill and bringing in Slater Cuckoo because he's really struggled. Joe Morrill has 9-1-4 for Craig Anderson. He's actually played really good there. Obviously wasn't a net for that final goal, which was the empty netter. They did throw a lot of shots at him, so that is not good. So we will we'll sim to game 2 here. I'm going to switch up the power play. I'm going to bring out Joe Morrill, and we'll put in Slater Cuckoo. Just trying to get comfy here. Okay. So yeah, let's go edit lines here. So not good. We got to find an answer for them here. So let's go like this. Yaskins and Parquet, I've been really impressed by them. They have really been playing well, so much well that I'm going to switch him with Furlan Yaskin, excuse me. Just make some minor tweaks here. Let's go defenseman. We'll stick out Joe Morrill and we'll bring in Slater Cuckoo. All 3 of our bottom 7 guys are 78, so it really doesn't matter who we flip in and out. It was just too bad because Joe Morrill and Rasmus Anderson all season long were the most steady 3rd pairing you could ask for, and now they have really dropped off And so now we're forced to bring in a guy like... It's a good thing we picked up Slater Kuku on waivers, because we're really needing him now to kind of switch up our lineup here and there, because things are not working out. So, excuse me, 0 for 2 there was our power play in game number 1. So we're going to make some minor changes here. Again, just personnel changes. We'll try Sam Bennett back up there with Gaudreau and Tavares. Where's Gaudreau? Right there. I'm even going to try dropping Monahan off the top unit. Put Monahan with Kachuk. Kind of just go back to the basics here. Let's put James Neal. Yeah, we can go James Neal there. Dougie Hamilton. You know what? Let's go. Let's make things really basic. Go back to our top pairing there. And then we'll do Neal. And Jankowski can play with Brody for now. So we'll just try that for now. See if those minor changes can at least spark our power play just a bit. I know they have a strong PK, but we still got to find answers here. Like, I mean, we want to try and win this series. Our window is now to win the cup. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed if we lost this series. Let's put it that way. But it would kind of suck because we got all the way to the conference finals, and we do have a chance to win the Stanley Cup this year. We've only got to get through 2 more teams, and that's this St. Louis team, and then that's whoever wins the Eastern Finals. I mean, realistically, we can do it. So it would be nice to see us do it here this year, but I just don't know. This is a strong St. Louis team. And they get out to another 1-0 lead here in game number 2. Alexander Steen strikes twice on Craig Anderson. So this is not good. 2-0 early St. Louis Blues. We are in a hole already in this series. And now we're in a hole, here in game number 2. So not good. Can't do too much after that. We outshot them 11-9. Let's see if we can bounce back here in the second period. We can't go down 2-0 in a hole here. Going back to St. Louis, that would just be, that would be the series right there. Pretty much, at least it would seem like it. This series so far is starting to remind me of that Chicago series from 1 year ago, which the Chicago Blackhawks really found the answer on us. But here's 2 quick goals in the second period to help tie this one up. 3, Johnny Gaudreau. 52 seconds left, gets the second of the game, second of the series, and we have jumped out to a 3-2 lead. So hold your horses. This one might not be over just yet. We are out shooting them 25-16 as we start the third period. If we can hang on, this could be a huge win, a huge come-from-behind win. We were down 2-0 in the first period. So come on, Calgary Flames. We're out shooting them pretty bad now, 31-21. There's still 5 minutes to go, though. This is the longest period ever. Can we hang on? Come on, Calgary Flames. And we're going to. Michael Ferland potting the empty net goal, and the Calgary Flames have hung on. So what a comeback. 4 unanswered goals here in game number 2 after they went up 2-0. What an amazing response by the Calgary Flames. I mean, that's incredible. I did not think we were going to be able to come back against such a tough team like St. Louis, down 2-0 to them in the Western Finals. I didn't think we were going to be able to come back, but we did. So that is good. That's game 2, There's Tavares and Gaudreau. Our 2 top guys once again coming. It almost seems like if we're going to win, if we're going to have a chance to win in any series and win the Stanley Cup, it's going to be these 2 teams, or these 2 guys carrying us on their back. Gaudreau and Tavares, the number 1 and 2 dynamic duo. I think these guys are going to be the guys that, I mean, if we, again, hypothetically, if we do win the Stanley Cup, one of these 2 guys are going to be our Conn Smythe Trophy winners. They're already our Conn Smythe favorites, but I think it's going to be these 2 guys that are going to carry us in there. Craig Anderson might be the 3rd guy that would carry us to a championship, but I think it's going to be these 2 guys. It's going to be really those guys pulling. Sam Bennett on that top line punches in with a point as well. Second line doesn't do too much there, but that's okay. We come from behind and we win. So that's a huge win for the Calgary Flames. 9-1-7 for Craig Anderson. That's not bad. I forgot to look at the plus minuses here. Who were in the minuses for us? Just that second line. Yeah, so second line struggled just a little bit, but again, we pulled out the win here in game 2. A game that did not look like we were going to win. being down 2-0 early there, but we did come back. So huge. Like I said, we could not afford to go into St. Louis down 2-0 in the series. We are not. That's not going to be the case now, as we have evened up the series at 1 apiece. Now we have a chance to go into St. Louis with momentum and take the series lead for the first time. So that could be key. So we're not going to make any lineup changes. I like what I saw there in game number 2. Let's see if we can go into game 3 and get that all-important 2-1 series lead here. We're doing it one game at a time. Come on, we just need 3 more wins in this series to get ourselves to the Stanley Cup Finals. And we get the early goal. There's Chris Versteeg. I believe that's his first of the Stanley Cup playoffs. A huge goal, or no, it's his second, I think. But huge goal either way for Chris Versteeg. That's a fourth line goal for us once again. Depth coming through. That could be huge. That could be the undeciding factor in this series. What am I trying to say? The factor, that could be the X factor for us in this series is our depth. Something that's not expected to be strong, but could come through, especially if we're not going to win the special teams battle, because right now we are not winning the special teams battle against a very good St. Louis team. 1-0 through the first half of this hockey game. Can we hang on? Calgary Flames, this is a very tight game. This is for the series lead here in game number 3. We are in St. Louis. Scotch Trades Center. Final period of play. Here we go. Shots are very even. Come on, Calgary Flames. There it is, Michael Furland. Another fourth line goal. Johnny Gaudreau. Huge. 3-0. And then they score. Tarasenko gets on the board for the first time in this series. Come on, Calgary Flames, hang on. We have a 2-goal lead. There's still half a period to go. All we got to do right here is hang on. Oh, and they get another one. Tarasenko again. 5 minutes to go. Here's the power play. Here's the power play. Come on, Calgary Flames. We have to get that power play right there. Oh my god, we had a full 5 minute, or not a 5 minute, but a full 5-on-3 and a full 5-on-4 power play, and we could not get it done. We're lucky to win this game 3-2, but we cannot, when we have a power play at the end of the period there, we have to find a way to score on it, especially on a 5-on-3. I know their PK is good, but I mean, come on. We have such a powerful offense. We're in the Western Conference Finals. We should be able to score on a 5-on-3 for once. It pisses me off, but at the end of the day, the main thing is we got the W, so that's all I care about. Once again, Johnny Gaudreau coming through for us with a huge goal. Michael Furland, how huge was that goal? Again, I think I just demoted him to the fourth line in favor of Dmitry Yaskins, and him and Versteeg and even Cedric Parquet on that fourth line are really coming through for us. So that is huge. Like I said, could be the X factor in this series is our depth. That would really be something. Pretty good game all around. I mean, we did allow them to score twice at the end, 9-3-3 there for Craig Anderson. We did allow them to score 2 goals by their leading goal scorer in Vladimir Tarasenko there at the end of the period. But because we did have a 3-0 lead out through 40 minutes of play, or through the first whatever, how many minutes of play, but they did score 2 goals there at the end. Main thing is, though, like I said, we got the W. That's 2 back-to-back wins in this series after dropping game 1, and we roll into game number 4 with a chance to take the stranglehold on this series. So let's get right into it. We're up 2-1 here on the St. Louis Blues. Can we make it 3-1? This would be huge. We could go back to Calgary with a 3-1 series lead and a chance to be 1 win away from a cup champion, or from a Stanley Cup final appearance. Western Conference Championship is what I was supposed to say. So there we go. James, the real deal Neal, has made it 1-0. Here's that power play. Come on, Calgary Flames. And we don't capitalize on the power play, but we're up 1-0. So that is good. Outshooting them pretty bad. 12-6 is what the shots are. 13-7 is what it ends up being after 20 minutes. Here we go. Second period. Still 1-0 Flames. Come on. This is not the time to crumble. Like, come on, let's just pile it on here. 15-8 are the shots. We're outplaying them. I mean, this should be our game easy. Come on, Calgary Flames. Let's go back to Calgary with a 3-1 series lead. That would be huge. There's a huge PK for us, and then we respond with a goal by Michael Furland. That's huge. So our PK has been good so far. We've killed off their power play. We're up 2-0. Michael Furland. I mean, our offense is really spread out in this series and in this playoffs. It's really nice to see our depth coming through. I mean, the third line players, the fourth line players coming through for us is huge. So they've made it a 1-goal game here in the third period. They're on the power play. Huge PK right there. Huge PK. Still 7 minutes to go. Come on. I hate these third periods. They're so long. Come on, Calgary Flames. Hang on. Come on. Hang on. Yes. I really thought they were going to tie it there at the end there. They never did. The Calgary Flames prevail to a 2-1 win there in game number 4. We have won 3 straight on or in this series, excuse me, and we are heading back to Calgary, 1 win away from going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you believe it? I mean, our time might be now in Calgary. So this is exciting. So just a quick look there. A pretty spread out offense as mentioned. A much better game there than the first game there in terms of goals against. 966 for Craig Anderson. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just so excited, tripping over my words. But this is pretty exciting right now because we are now up 3-1 on the St. Louis Blues in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, can we do it? Like, can we beat the St. Louis Blues and win our first Western Conference title since 2004? We are now 1 win away from doing just that. Like, I mean, my God, think about it. 15 years ago, the Calgary Flames, led by Jarome Iginla, won the Western Conference out of the 6th seed in the West. Here we are 15 years later as the 2nd seed in the West and have a chance to repeat that and head back to the Stanley Cup Finals. It's been a long time. And on top of it, the way that year in 2004 ended with that game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, I mean, it would only be fitting. And as I say that, take a look at this East. I just looked over here at the East. 3-1 Tampa, 3-1 Calgary, 3-1 Tampa. What is that setting up perfectly? Like I just can't. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because I mean 2004. That was such a huge year, and the way it ended. I mean the fact that the Flames scored in Game 6 off the skate of Martin Jelena, and it was disallowed, or it wasn't even reviewed back then. They didn't have the technology to review it, and they didn't even have any technology to. Well, I mean, they did, but they didn't utilize it like they do nowadays. And the fact that the Calgary Flames could have won the Stanley Cup off of that goal. I mean, everybody talks about the Brett Hall goal against the Buffalo Sabres in 1999 when the Dallas Stars won the Stanley Cup as maybe the most controversial goal in NHL history. If that is, right behind it, or maybe as equal, is that Martin Jelena goal in Game 6 in 2004 that wasn't even reviewed. But anyways, as I'm trying to wrap my head around all of it. And as I'm saying it, we're up 3-1 on the Blues, and the Lightning are up 3-1 in the Carolina Hurricanes. Could you imagine that if 15 years after 2004, these two teams once again meet in the finals? I mean, I'm getting way ahead of myself, though, because we have a series to finish here. I don't even want to think about the finals just yet, because here is that dangerous 3-1 lead that we could just absolutely blow, like a lot of franchises have. Including the San Jose Sharks, who choked how many years ago in the first round against the LA Kings. It happens in every playoff, every sports playoffs. A team's going to blow a 3-1 lead. So I don't even want to think about it right now. We have some business to take care of before we can even think the Stanley Cup Finals. And if it happens to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, then that's just a match made in heaven. That's just perfectly set up by the hockey gods. But we still have one more win to get before we get there. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into Game 5. We're in Calgary. We have a chance to win our fourth Western Conference title in franchise history, right? We won in 86 and 89 and 2004, so we have a chance to win our 4th Western Conference title in franchise history. Can we do it right here against the St. Louis Blues and punch our ticket at the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in 15 years? Only one way to find out. Here we go. I don't expect this to be an easy game. They're facing elimination. I don't expect them to go away here. This is going to be a tough game, but I want to end it here. I want to raise the not the trophy, but take the picture of the trophy here on home ice like we did 15 years ago. So can we do that? And we start off with a goal by James the Real Deal Neal. That's huge. His second of the series. We're up 1-0. Come on, Flames, but they've tied it up there. Come on, Calgary. Hang on here. So 1-1 after 20 minutes. A pretty even 20 minutes there. Play here in game number 5. Come on, Flames. Oh, and they've gone up 2-1 on us. Ivan Barbashev. Can we tie it up? Calgary Flames. This would be a really good time for a power play. And we score. Sam Bennett, just as I say that, has scored on the power play. So that is huge. We've tied this hockey game up. So we do find a way to beat their very strong PK. Come on, Flames. Come on. This is a very even game. And we are going into the third period on the power play. So we'll start on a very abbreviated power play to start the final frame. This is it. Can we punch our ticket? Come on, Calgary Flames. Here we go. And they go on an abbreviated power play. Come on, kill it, kill it. We kill it, we kill it. But we're still deadlocked at 2 with them. Come on, Calgary Flames. Here we go. Come on. 9 minutes to go. This is a 2-2 game. Anybody's game here. Come on, PK. Come on, PK. Oh, and they score. They get a huge power play goal. 3 minutes left. Let's tie it up. There it is. Sam Bennett, second of the hockey game. We're going to overtime in Game 5. Here we go. This is it. Do we have another overtime magic in the bag here? Will it be John Tavares, as he has done so many times for us? Let's find out. Calgary Flames, St. Louis Blues. Come on, Western Conference title on the line. And we get it! The Calgary Flames are Western Conference champions on a goal by Travis Hamonic? Like, what? Okay, well, if I had to pick probably like 30 people to score the overtime winner between the two teams, Travis Hamonic would not have cracked that list. But who cares? Because he has just scored probably the biggest goal in 15 years in Calgary Flames franchise history. Travis Hamonic has solidified the Calgary Flames as Western Conference champions 2019. The Flames are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Yes! This is exciting. So there it is, 4-3 in overtime. We knock off the St. Louis Blues in 5 games. I am beyond ecstatic, if you could not tell. This is exciting. Actually, not really that good of a game for some of our guys like Sader Kuku, Rasmus Anderson, and Michael Ferland, all in the -2s. That third pairing really continuing to struggle for us in this one. But who cares? We're going to the fucking Stanley Cup Finals. There's Sean Monahan, Matthew Tkachuk with 2 points each. Sam Bennett, how big was he in this game? 2 huge goals for us. He's been so huge in this playoffs. We talk about Gaudreau and Tavares being our leaders for the MVP. They're now our consummate favorites as we head to the Stanley Cup Finals. But Sam Bennett, don't underestimate this guy. He's been really good too in this playoffs. 8-0 for Craig Anderson, a bit of a weaker night for him, but again, the Flames prevail as Western Conference champions. So that is exciting. It's been 15 long years, but the Calgary Flames have won their 4th conference championship, and we will play, just as we expected, just as we thought, we will play the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, I mean, you couldn't have written a better script. I was just like, I didn't even think this was going to happen when I began this episode. That we would have a chance. Like I didn't even clue in the last episode when I said Tampa was going to the East Finals against Carolina when they knocked off Toronto. That this could be a possibility that Tampa could win their conference and we could win our conference. And the fact that it's been exactly 15 years since 2004, like I didn't really add that all up, but here it is. I mean, you couldn't have written a better script than that. I mean, literally 15 years to the day. In June, the Tampa Bay Lightning were parading the cup around in Tampa Bay against us, and now we have a chance for sweet, sweet revenge 15 years later. Like I said, you just can't write this better. This is something only the hockey gods can create, and they've done this. So, I mean, could you imagine if this is real life? This is just a video game, but could you imagine if this is real life? Like, this would really be something. But I don't know. At the end of the day, this is just really exciting. For any Flames fan, especially for anybody that was around from 2004, just to know that your team could get a chance here at beating that exact same team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and getting a chance to get revenge from 2004, a year that the Flames really should have won off that goal by Martin Jelena. This is exciting. So I know the Tampa, I'm not even looking at their team right now, but I know they've got a very powerful team led by Stamkos and Kucherov and Hedman, and obviously we know they went out and got John Gibson, and they got Andrei Vasilevsky, who we were trying to trade for at the deadline. We were trying to get Vasilevsky. Now they've got an extremely solid 1-2 punch and goal going up against Craig Anderson with John Gibson leading the way. And they got some extreme superstars up front. This is not going to be an easy finals, but we're going to have to play our hearts out if we want to win a Stanley Cup, because that's what's on the line. Yeah, so that is the end of this episode, I guess. This might be a shorter one because this series did go by a lot faster than I thought. I thought it would at least go 7 games. It went by in 5. Just looking back at this, before we even look forward to that Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup Final Series, Looking back at the Western Conference Finals, I did not expect that. I thought with them being very powerful up front and having such a strong special teams, I thought that they were going to pose as an extremely hard challenge for us, a challenge in which I thought would at least go 7 games, but we found a way to get by them in 5 games. Like, I mean, that's just magnificent. I did not think we had that in us. A huge reason why is our depth. I think that was, like I said, just before the series started, or as the series started. If we win this series, I think our X factor is going to be our depth. I think we saw that with goals from guys like Michael Frolik, a lot of the depth guys coming through for us. Cedric Parquet, Michael Ferland had goals in this series. Like, that's huge. Like, our depth has been Christopher Stieg as well. Our depth has come through for us in the whole playoffs this year against Arizona, Colorado, and St. Louis. And before we started the playoffs, we really thought that our depth was our biggest weakness. And that's exactly why we went and trade deadline and acquired a guy like Rick Nash, was to address, or at least help address our depth needs. That backfired on us because of the glitch. But then after that, our depth has actually suddenly come through. Like, we didn't end up getting Rick Nash. We ended up getting fucked over by EA Sports, by that glitch, but our depth has somehow still come through for us. So, I mean, maybe we didn't need Rick Nash after all. Maybe that glitch kind of turned out for the better. I mean, I don't think our team would have been worse with Rick Nash, but look, we're doing just fine without him. Our depth is coming through for us through 3 rounds. I mean, our depth has almost single-handedly, besides, of course, John Tavares and Johnny Gaudreau and Craig Anderson and the rest of our superstars, our depth has really helped lead us to a Western Conference title. So, I mean, that's huge. Like, I don't know what else to say. That is huge. So, we didn't win. I don't know if we really won the special teams battle in that series, but we definitely won the X factor, which was the depth battle, and we got by the Blues in 5. I just didn't think that was going to happen, as did the Tampa Bay Lightning against the Kings. But yeah, so the Calgary Flames are Western Conference champions 2019. Believe it, 15 years ago, the Calgary Flames were Western Conference champions, went to the Stanley Cup Finals, lost in 7 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, 15 years later, the Flames are Western Conference champions. Instead of against San Jose, this time it was against St. Louis, and just like they did in 2004, they're going back to the Stanley Cup Finals, and guess who? It is the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this obviously sets up a magnificent amount of storylines and excitement here as we head into episode 24, which will be labeled Stanley Cup Finals Rematch, Tampa versus Calgary. Get set, because it's happening in 2019, or at least it is in this video game. So that will do it for this episode 23. What an exciting end. The Calgary Flames are Western Conference champions, and now they have a chance to get some sweet, sweet revenge against the Tampa Bay Lightning, like they did, or like they should have done 15 years ago when Mark Tangellin scored, but when it wasn't reviewed. So that does it for this episode. Episode 24 will probably be the most exciting episode of this entire series of franchise modes, as we get a shot at the Tampa Bay Lightning 15 years after 2000. I know I've said it 100 times, but it's happening. The Flames Lightning Stanley Cup Finals, episode 24, next.